How are you? I am Advocate Gaurav Kumar Gupta. I am Chartered Accountant and MBA Finance and PhD holder. My project डेरिवेटिव मार्केट फ्यूचर ट्रेंड एनालिसिस। आज हम टॉपिक डिस्कस कर रहे हैं भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा भारतीय न्याय संहिता 2023 के बारे में जिक्र कर रहे हैं। चैप्टर 1 हमें अब डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। सेक्शन 1 शॉर्ट टाइटल कमेंट्स एंड एप्लीकेशन। दिस एक्ट में बी कॉल्ड भारतीय न्याय संहिता 2023. It shall come into force on such date as the central government may by notification in the official gazette. A point and different date may be appointed for different provision of this sanhita. Every person shall be liable to punishment under this sanhita and not otherwise for every act or omission contrary to the provision thereof, of which he shall be guilty within India. Any person liable by any law for time being in force in India to be tried from an offence committed beyond India shall be dealt with according to the provision of this Sanhita. For any act committed beyond India in the same manner, if such act had been committed within India, the provision of the Sanhita shall also apply to any offence committed any citizen of India in any place without any beyond in India, any person, any ship, aircraft registered in Indian whenever it may be, any person in any place without and beyond India committing offence targeting a computer resource located in India. Explanation. In this section, the word offence include every act committed outside India, which if committed in India would be punishable under this Sanhita. A who is citizen of India commit a murder in any place without and beyond India. He can be tried and convicted of murder any place in India in which he may be found. Nothing in the Sanhita shall affect the provision of any act for punishing immunity and discretion of officers, soldiers, soldiers, airmen in the service of Government of India, the provision of any special of local law. Definition. In the Sanhita, unless the context otherwise is required, act denotes as well as series of act and single act. Animal means any living creatures other than a human beings. Child means any person belong the age of 18 years. Counterfeit. A person is said to counterfeit who cause one things to resemble another things, intending by means of that remembrance to practice this deception, knowing it to be likely that deception will thereby be practiced. Explanation 1. It not essential to counterfeiting that the limitation should be exact. Explanation 2. When a person cause one thing to resemble another thing and the resemblance is such that a person might be deceived, person so causing the one things to resemble the other things. Intent by means of that resemblance to practice deception or knew it to be likely that deceptions would thereby be practiced. Court means हो गया Court means a judge who is empowered by law to act judicially alone, a body of judge which is empowered by law to act judicially as a body when such body of judge is acting judicially. Death means the death of human beings unless the contrary appears from the context. Dishonestly means doing anything with the intention of causing wrongful gain to one person, wrongful loss to another person. Document means any matter expressed, described upon any substance by means of letter, figure, marks, by more than one of those means and including the electronic and digital record, intend to be used, which may be used as evidence of that matter. It is a immaterial by what means, upon what substance the letter, figure, marks are formed, or whether the evidence is intending for may be used in court note. A writing expressing the term of contract which may be used as evidence of the contract is document. A check upon a banker is a document. A power of attorney is a document. A map plan which is intended to be used, which may be used as evidence is a document. A writing containing direction, instruction is a document. Explanation 2. Whatever is expressed by means of letter, figure, marks, as explained by mercantile, other usage shall be deemed to be expressed by such letter. Figure marks within the meaning of this section, although the same may not be actually expressed. A writes his name on the back of bill of exchange payable or to his order. The meaning of the endorsement as explained by mercantile use it's is that the bill is to be paid to holder. The endorsement is document and shall be construed in the same manner if the words pay of the holder's word to the effect had been written over the signature. Fraudulently. Fraudulently means doing anything with the intention to defraud but not otherwise. Fraudulently. इसके बाद सेक्शन 10 हमें जेंडर को डील करता है. द प्रोनाउन ही एड इन डायरेक्टिव इट्स डेरिवेटिव्स आर यूज ऑफ एनी पर्सन वेदर मेल फीमेल एंड ट्रांसजेंडर. Explanation. Transgender shall have the meaning assigned to int clause K of section 2 of the Transgender Person Protection of Right Act 2019 and 40 of 2019. Good faith. Section 11 deal करता है good faith. Nothing is said to be done delivered is good faith which is done believe without due care and attention. गवर्नमेंट सेक्शन 12 डील करता है गवर्नमेंट. गवर्नमेंट मीन्स द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट. सेक्शन 13 डील करता है हार्बर. हार्बर इंक्लूड सप्लाइंग ए पर्सन विथ शेल्टर, फूड, ड्रिंक, मनी, क्लॉथ, आर्म्स, एम्यूनिशंस, मीन्स ऑफ कन्वीनियंस द assisting a person by any means whether of the same kind as those enumerated in this clause not be evade apprehension. इंजोरी मीन्स होता है एनी हार्म्स वाट एवर इलीगली कॉज टू एनी पर्सन इन बॉडी, माइंड, रिपुटेशन और प्रॉपर्टी. इलीगल एंड लीगली बाउंड टू डू. द वर्ड इलीगल इज एप्लीकेबल टू एवरीथिंग विच इज एन ऑफेंस विच इज प्रोहिबिटेड बाय लॉ विच फर्निश ग्राउंड फॉर सिविल एक्शन. A person is said to be legally bound to do whatever is illegal in him to omit. Judge means a person who is officially designated as a judge and include a person. पहला who is empowered by law to give in any legal proceeding, civil and criminal. And defective judgment, a judgment which if not appealed against would be definitive, or a judgment which is confirmed by some other authority would be definitive on. Who is one of the body person, which body of person is empowered by law to give such a judgment. A magistrate exercise jurisdiction in respect of a charge on which he has power to sentence to fine, imprisonment with or without appeal is a judge. Section 70 deal करता life means life of human beings unless the contrary appears from the context. Section 18 deal करता है local law means the law applicable only in the particular part of India. Section 90 deal करता है man means male human beings of any age. Section 20 deal करता है month and years. Wherever the word month, the word year in use, it be understood the month of the year is very count according to the Gregorian calendar. Section 21 deal करता movable property, include property of every description except land and things attached to the earth permanently fastened to anything which they attach to the earth. Section 22 deal करता है number, unless the contrary appears from the context. Words importing the signature number including the plural number and words importing the plural number including the singular number. Section 23 oath sapath include a solemn affirmation substituted by law for an oath and any declaration required or authorized by law to be made before a public servant to be used for the purpose of proof whether in the court not. Offense except in chapter and section mentioned in subsection clause A, B. The word offense means and things meant punishable by this Sanhita. A in chapter 3 and in following the section, namely subsection 2, 3, 4, 5, Section 8, Section 9, 49, 50, and 52, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, Section 190, 120, 120, subsection clause 7, and Section 8 of Section 127, Section 222, 230, 231, 240, 248, 250, 251, 259, 260, 261, 262, 260, subsection 6 and clause 7 of Section 308 and subsection 2 of Section 3030. The word offense means a thing punishable under this Sanhita under any special law and local law. In subsection 1 of section 189, section 211, 212, 238, 239, 249, 253, and subsection 1 of section 329, the words offense shall have the same meaning when the act punishable under any special law, local law is punishable under such law with imprisonment for term 6 months more whether in without fine. Omission means section 25 deal करता omission. Omission denote as well as series of omission and single omission. सेक्शन 26 डील करता है पर्सन इंक्लूडिंग एनी कंपनी एसोसिएशन बॉडी और पर्सन वेदर इनकॉर्पोरेटेड या नॉट. सेक्शन 27 डील करता है पब्लिक इंक्लूड एनी क्लास ऑफ पब्लिक एनी कम्युनिटी. सेक्शन 28 डील करता है पब्लिक सर्वेंट मीन्स ए पर्सन फॉलिंग अंडर एनी ऑफ द डिस्क्रिप्शन नेमली every commissioned officer in army, navy and air force, be every judge including any person empowered by law to discharge whether by himself as member of any body or person any adjudicatory function. सेक्शन सी हमें डील करता है एवरी ऑफिसर ऑफ कोर्ट इंक्लूडिंग द लिक्विडेटर रिसीवर और कमिश्नर हु ड्यूटी इट इज एज सच ऑफिसर टू इन्वेस्टिगेट या रिपोर्ट ऑन एनी मैटर ऑफ लॉ फैक्ट टू मेक authenticate, keep any document, to take charge or dispose of any property, to execute any judicial process, excluding judicial process, to administer any oath, to interpret, to preserve order in court, and every person specially authorized by court to perform any such duty. Every assessor, members of panchayat assisting a court public servant, every arbitrator, other person to whom any cause या matter has been referred for decision, report by any court by any other competent public authority, every person who holds any office by virtue of which he is empowered to place, keep any person is in confinement, every officer of the government whose duty it is as such officer to prevent offence, to give information of offence, to bring offender of justice, to protect the public health, safety and convenience. Every officer whose duty it is as such officer to take, receive, keep or expend any property on behalf of the government, to make any survey, assessment of contract on behalf of government, to execute any revenue process, the investigate, to report on any matter affecting the pecuniary interest of the government, to make, authenticate, keep any document relating to the pecuniary interest of government, to prevent the infraction of any law for protections of any pecuniary interest of the government. Every officer whose duty it is as such officers to receive, keep and expend any property, to make any survey or assessment, to levy any rate, tax, any secular common purpose of any village, town, district, to make, authenticate, keep any document for the ascertaining of the right of people of any village, town and district. Every person who holds any office by virtue of which he is empowered to prepare, publish, maintain, revise and electoral roll, and to conduct an elections and conduct an election of election. Every person in the service pay of government or remunerated by fee of commission for the performance of any public duty by the government, in the service of pay of local authority as defined in clause 31 section 3 of General Clause Act 1897, a corporation established by or under central state act government company defined in clause 45 section 2 of the Company Act 2013 a person falling under any other description made in this clause are public servant whether appointment by the government. Every person who is actual position of the situation of public servant, whatever legal defect there may be in his right to hold the situation, is a public servant. Election means an election for the purpose of selecting member, any legislative, municipal, other public authority, whatever the character, that method of selection to which by any law for timing in force. A municipal commissioner is a public servant. Section 29, reason to believe. A person is said to have reason to believe a thing if he has sufficient cause to believe the thing but not otherwise. Section 30 डील करता है स्पेशल लॉ मीन्स ए लॉ एप्लीकेबल टू पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट. सेक्शन 31 डील करता है वैल्यूएबल सिक्योरिटी मीन्स ए डॉक्यूमेंट विच इज purports to be a document whereby any legal right in created, extended, transferred, restricted, extinguished, released, or whereby any person acknowledge that he lies under legal liability has not a certain legal right. A right he is named to be back of bill of exchange as the effect of his endorsement is to transfer the right to the bill to any person who may become the lawful holder of it. His endorsement is valuable security. Section 32 हमें बताता है vigil. Vigil means anything made for convenience by water of human beings of property. Human beings of property. Voluntarily, section 33 बताता है person is said to cause an effect voluntarily when he causes it by means whereby he intend to cause it by means which at the time of implying those means he knew or had reason believed to be likely to cause it. A sets fire by night to an inhabited house in a large town for the purpose of facilitating a robbery, thus cause the death of the person. Here, A may not have intent to cause death, may even be sorry that death has been caused by his act at if he knew that he was likely to cause that, he has caused that is voluntarily. Will सेक्शन 34 हमें डील करता है विल मीन्स एनी टेस्टिमेंट्री डॉक्यूमेंट होता है. विल जो होता है वसीयतनामा वो टेस्टिमेंट्री डॉक्यूमेंट होता है. वुमेन मीन्स फीमेल वुमेन बींग्स एनी एज, कोई भी एज का, वुमेन का मतलब कोई भी एज होना चाहिए. रॉन्गफुल गेन सेक्शन 36 हमें बताता है भारतीय न्याय संहिता 2023 में section 36 wrongful gain means gain by unlawful means of property to which the person gaining is not legally entitled. wrongful loss का मतलब होता है means the loss by section 37 डील करता है. wrongful loss means the loss by unlawful means of property to which the person losing it is legally entitled. section 38 हमें डील करता है gaining wrongfully, losing wrongfully. A person is said to gain wrongfully when such person retains wrongfully as well as when such person acquires wrongfully. A person is said to lose wrongfully when such person is wrongfully kept out of any property as well as when such person is wrongfully deprived of property. डिप्राइव मीन्स होता है वंचित कर देना, संपत्ति से उसको वंचित कर देना. सेक्शन 39 होता है वर्ड्स एंड एक्सप्रेशन यूज बट नॉट डिफाइन इन दिस संहिता बट डिफाइन इन इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी एक्ट 2021 एंड द भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता 2023 shall have the meaning respectively assigned to in the act in the संहिता. जनरल एक्सेप्शन में थ्रू आउट दिस संहिता एवरी डिफिनेशन ऑफ एन ऑफेंस, every penal provision and every state of every such definition or penal provision shall be understood subject to the exception contained in the chapter entitled general exception, though those exceptions not repeated in such definition penal provision in legislation. The section of the sanhita which containing the definitions of offense do not express that a child under 7 years of age cannot commit such offense, but the definition are to be understood subject to the general exception which provide that nothing shall be an offense done by child 7 years of age. यदि 7 years एज से कम का जो बच्चा होगा यदि कोई ऑफेंस करता है तो वो पनिशेबल नहीं होगा, और यदि 7 years से ज़्यादा का चाइल्ड होगा तो वो पनिशेबल माना जाएगा. Every expression which explain a part of the Sanhita using every part of Sanhita conformative in the explanation. When the property in supposition of person, a spouse, clerk, servant, on account of that person in the person position within the meaning of this Sanhita. A person implied temporarily on particular occasion in the capacity of clerk servant is a clerk servant within the meaning of this subsection in every part of the Sanhita except where the contrary intention appears from the context words which refer to act done extend also is legal omission. When a criminal act is done by several persons in furtherance of the common intention, all is such person liable for that the same manner is were done by him alone. Whenever an act is which is criminal only by reason, it being one done is criminal knowledge intention done by several persons each of such person who joins in the act which such knowledge intention is liable for the act in the same manner as if the act were done by him alone with the knowledge or intention. Wherever the causing of certain effect, an attempt to cause the effect by an act by an omission in offense, it is be understood that the causing of the effect partly by an act, partly by omission, the same offenses intentionally caused Jed death partly by illegally omitting giving Jed food and partly by beating Jed A has been committed murder. When an offense is committed by means of several acts, whoever intentionally cooperates in the commission of the offense by doing any one of those acts, either single jointly with the other person, commit that offense. A and B agree to murder Jed by severally and at different time giving him same a small dose and poison. A and B administer the poison according to the agreement within intent to murder Jed. Jed die from the fact the several dosage of poison. So administered to him. Here A and B intentionally cooperate in the commission of murder, and as each of them does an act by which the death is caused, they are both guilty of the offense, though their acts are separate. A and B are joint jewelers and such have the charge of Jed. A prisoner alternatively for 6 hours at a time. A and B intending to cause Jed death knowingly cooperate in causing that effect by illegal omitting is during the time of his attendance attendance of furnish Jed with food supplied to them for that purpose. Jed die of hunger. Both A and B are guilty of murder of Jed. A, a jeweler has the charge of Jed, a prisoner A intending to cause Jed death. Illegal omit to supply Jed with food in consequence of which Jed is much reduced in strength, but the starvation is not sufficient to cause his death. A is dismissed from his office and B succeeds him B without collusion or cooperation with a illegal omits to supply Jed with food knowing that he is likely thereby to cause Jed death. Jed die for hunger. B is guilty of murder, but as A did not cooperate with B, A is guilty only an attempt to commit murder. Where several persons are engaged, concerned in the commission of a criminal act, they may be guilty of different offense by means of that act. A attack Jed under such circumstances of grave provocation that his killing of Jed would be only culpable homicide not amounting to murder, be having ill will towards Jed and intending to kill him and not having been subject to the provocation. Assist A is killing Jed. Here, though A and B are both engaged in causing Jed death, B is guilty of murder and A is guilty only for of culpable homicide. अब अगले वीडियो में हम आपको डील करेंगे चैप्टर 2 ऑफ पनिशमेंट टू विच ऑफेंडर लाइवर अंडर द प्रोविजन। डेथ पनिशमेंट क्या प्रकार के होते हैं? डेथ पनिशमेंट होता है, दूसरा होता है आपको इम्प्रिजमेंट फॉर लाइफ, आजीवन कारावास होता है, मृत्युदंड होता है। डेथ पनिशमेंट को हम कैपिटल पनिशमेंट भी कह सकते हैं, कैपिटल पनिशमेंट, मृत्युदंड। इम्प्रिजनमेंट विच इज टू डिस्क्रिप्शन नेमली, दो प्रकार के कारावास होते हैं। एक होता है रिग्रियस इम्प्रिजनमेंट विथ हार्ड लेबर, यानी आपको यदि यदि आपको इम्प्रिजनमेंट रिग्रेस किया गया तो वो हार्ड लेबर भी किया जाएगा, आपको कठोर सजा भी जाएगा। सिंपल इम्प्रिजनमेंट, आप छोटा सा ऑफेंस किया आपको सिंपल मिलेगा, सीरियस ऑफेंस किया तब वो रिग्रेस इम्प्रिजनमेंट मिलेगा। फॉर फ्यूचर ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी, संपत्ति की जब्ती हो जाएगी, काउंटर फिट हो जाएगा, वो भी एक आता है पनिशमेंट में। दूसरा फाइन आता है, कम्युनिटी सर्विस। अब नया जो अभी भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता में आया है, कम्युनिटी सर्विस को नया जोड़ दिया गया है। अगले वीडियो में हम आपको डील करेंगे भारतीय न्याय संहिता की सेक्शन 5 कम्युनिकेशन ऑफ सेंटेंस क्या होता है, उसके बारे में जिक्र करें। फ्रैक्शन ऑफ टर्म ऑफ पनिशमेंट क्या होता है, सेंटेंस बाय सर्टेन कॉज ऑफ इम्प्रिजन होली एंड पार्टली रिग्रेस सिंपल, रिग्रेस इम्प्रिजमेंट क्या होता है, सिंपल इम्प्रिजनमेंट क्या होता है, दोनों में डिफरेंस बताएंगे। आज का वीडियो यहीं पे वाइप आउट कर रहे हैं। डेट्स ऑल।